Hello, everybody, and welcome to Super Podcast Action Committee, episode 182. Andrew Eisen here, along with Zachary Knight. Hello, Zachary.
Hello, everybody. And hello, Andre Lol 3. I'm glad to see you joining us from the Wii U. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's glad someone's using the internet browser on the Wii U for something. You know, I have to admit, I have used, when I got the Wii, not the Wii U, but its predecessor, the Wii, back in 06, I fired up the internet browser, and I went to a porn site, and I laughed. And because I'm browsing porn on the Nintendo console, and it made me giggle. And I have never used the browser since, because why would I?
It's a crappy browser, and using the pointer to type in a URL is just the worst thing ever. I'm sorry. It's worse than browsing on your phone, where you have to tap the URL. But yeah.
Did your camera unplug? There you go.
My camera can't unplug. It's built into my laptop. So.
Okay, but at least with the Wii U, you can stab at the screen to type in the URL, so that's nice.
Yeah, so that improves it. That is a big improvement.
Yeah, and even with the Wii U, I'm sorry, the Wii, you could the pointing with the remote was better than driving. Oh, it's such a pain in the butt to what did I do? I with the PS3, I was typing in the download codes for the Game of the Year edition crap in Tomb Raider, and you're click oh man, or setting up my user account and profile on the PS3 with the PS3 controller. Oh God, was that a nightmare? Glad you only have to do that once. But fear not, kiddies, because we're not going to spoil Daredevil, because Zachary and I have not seen the whole thing yet. So.
But we have watched about the same amount of it, and yes, it is awesome. You guys should watch it if you haven't yet.
I'm a little cooler on it, I think, but I'm still rather enjoying it. It has some, I'm going to speak really general here. It has some weird issues that the first season didn't. For example, the fighting is not as good, in the sense that a lot of the I don't know if they were like really rushed for time, but a lot of the punches and kicks are not selling for me. They're coming off as really staged, really fake fighty punches and kicks, and there wasn't as much. I mean, it's not a huge problem. It's not like 90% of the fights look like pulled punches, staged fighting. It's every episode seems to have one or two hits that just don't look right. It is small, and not a huge deal, but just something I didn't have a problem with in the first season. So
yeah. But I haven't really noticed, but
there was also one missing sound effect. Also, the sound. I don't know if it's Netflix or my TV, but the sound balance is weird. The dialogue is mixed down a little low. I've found several scenes in this show where I'm like, huh? I can't hear the dialogue over the music and sound effects. I have no idea why I decided to use that voice, but again, not a huge deal. I wish I could toggle the subtitles on Netflix really quickly, but I have to exit out to the menu, go to a thing, click down a few times, hit the thing, go back into the show, load irritating. But there was also a sound effect as someone slammed someone's head into the ground, and the is missing. They go "Hua," and you hear when the fist hits the face, and then they go, and it makes the sound of. And I'm like, did we forget to edit in the? There's supposed to be a sound effect there, but overall, it's been an enjoyable watch so far. I've found Electra kind of a slog. Anytime Electra's on screen, I'm like, get back to the other stuff. I don't care. But
Bernthal, I like Bernthal's Punisher, he's doing a really good job
Yes.
at playing him, way better than any of the movie Punishers, and I would say he's probably fairly on par with Dirty Laundry, but Dirty Laundry, they do play a very in Dirty Laundry and in Daredevil, they're really two totally different Punishers.
Yeah.
Where the Punisher in Daredevil is more. I don't know if you'd really call him psychotic, but he knows exactly what he's doing. So maybe sociopathic would be better. Um, but he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what he wants, and he's very efficient and stuff. But the one in Dirty Laundry, he was more methodical and I guess more twisted in the way he fought, but in the way he treated the bad guys in that short. But yeah, definitely, Bernthal is doing a really good job.
Yeah, Jane in the short at least was definitely a punisher. He punished.
Yes.
He wouldn't like your punishment. Bernthal, is that his
Yeah,
name?
Bernthal.
The one in this one is not really Punisher is the name that he's given, but he's, as you said, just efficient. He shoots you dead and he's done. He's not going to waste his time. So
yeah. His introduction is a big group of Irish mobsters having a sit down and
a friendly chat.
And then they all get mowed down, and one guy manages to survive and run away, and everybody like the cops and the DA and everything were like, man, this mob war is getting out of hand. And this guy shows up and he's like, this wasn't another mob, this was one guy. And so yeah, but yeah, very good.
Oh man, Uziel Ruiz. I'm probably nowhere close to that, but over on YouTube, hi Ruiz, says, "Hi Andrew, what do you think about the NX controller rumor? Are you familiar with the NX controller rumor?"
Yeah, I saw the picture of it. It looks exactly like the patent application,
which is why I don't believe it for a minute.
Exactly. Yes, I saw that and I was like, "That's exactly what the patent application illustration was."
Exactly. So that. Now, I would not be surprised if the NX controller ended up having some sort of face screen with thumbsticks sticking out of it, but there are a lot of reasons I don't believe that is true, but really the big one is because it looks exactly like the picture in the patent, and that almost never happens. I say almost because I like to cover my bases. I have never seen the final product look exactly like the patent. So, yeah, probably not. I would not be surprised at that thing that they patent, the touch screen that you can cut a hole in so that you can have buttons or sticks or something sticking through. We might see that, and we may very well see that on the NX controller, but that actually being the NX controller,
no.
I'm not buying it. Could be wrong, but no, I don't believe it. So,
I find it very hard to believe. Like, I forget which website it was. It was one of the Nintendo specific websites, but they had mentioned that somebody did some looking and they saw some slight shading lighting issues in there, but they couldn't see anything that really glared this is Photoshop, which probably means it was 3ds Max shopped. It was just maybe. Somebody did, or somebody 3D printed it and did something really cool.
Lecture says, I don't understand what the point of that is. It's the same issue of using an iPad in game where your hands cover up half the screen. And you have a point. It's weird. For those of you who don't know, the patent basically has the analog sticks, instead of being out here to the left and right of the screen in the center, the analog sticks would be like sticking a hole cut in the screen and sticking out. So your thumbs would be here manipulating the analog sticks. And you might be thinking, well, aren't my thumbs kind of in the way. Yeah, they are. But that also, so you have to
Well,
wonder. It's
but
like,
they also
yeah.
the controller was wide, so like
Mhm.
with the Wii U controller, to have the screen would be the size of the the Wii U gamepad with the thumbsticks in it,
Yeah.
and the idea behind it, and I understand this, is like you have tactile controls on the screen, but your
Yeah, haptic
thumbs
feedback.
are within easy access to touch elements on the screen. So you don't have to really move your thumbs that far to touch something and then get them back onto the analog stick.
Right, right.
That's the whole idea. But
And the bits that the parts of the screens that would naturally be under your thumbs, and I imagine most of your attention would be on the television anyway, but
probably, yeah.
also the bits under your thumbs would probably be for the controller dead zones, which they wouldn't put anything important there anyway, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't matter. But again, it makes you wonder, well, then why have a screen where you can't see anything and no one's putting anything anywhere? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll
But
see. Yeah.
yeah. So let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Baten Kaitos. I did it. Yes.
Took you
I
4 weeks,
it took
but you did it.
10 years or a little over 10 years if you want to go that far, but I finally made it through the Trail of Souls. And got all of the pickups and stuff that's permanently missable. Uh, Basically, it's a small section of a very long RPG that if you don't play it perfectly and are really lucky because random drops factor into this, you will. There are like 4 permanently missable things in that area. So you have to be lucky because random drops and play it perfectly. And I've never been particularly lucky, but I kept saying, I should just move past it and just enjoy the rest of the game, but I couldn't. But I finally did it. So I have the frost cap and secret recipe 4 and pictures of the Zemer and the ghost claws or whatever they're called. So, and I've played further in the game, and whoa, Baten Kaitos goes weird at that point. You visit the city of pastries, which is a city built out of
City of
pastries.
pastries. That's
Pretty
nice.
much. It's not called that, but it's Mira, the city of illusion or something. And then you go to the next dungeon is literally a 8-bit inspired Zelda-esque dungeon crawler. You walk through a door
Interesting.
and it goes and you're like, what? It's the weirdest damn thing. And now I go into a new area and it looks kind of like Tearaway. Looks
Yeah.
like a lot of
So is this
paper cutouts. I'm like, this game just got high.
is this thing based on the Wizard of Oz? Because as you were talking about the pastry city, there's a city in the Wizard of Oz where everything is made out of baked goods, including the little people that lived in it. And
Is that in the book?
yeah, in one of the
Oh,
books,
okay.
I don't remember which book it was, but yeah, she I think it was the Road to Oz or something like that. But yeah, she ends up in this town where it was a little town, like the people were like this big.
Lilliputian.
Yeah, and but they were all made out of baked goods, like bread and
Hmm.
cakes and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it was interesting.
Yeah, this game is. They get thrown in kind of pastry jail. How do we get out of here? We can eat our way out. And all the characters are like, no, I'm watching my figure. You do it. It was your idea. So one of the guys that sits there gnawing his way through the wall. It's like, come on, guys, help me. I'm getting ill. And I'm thinking, just you don't have to actually eat it. You could just punch your way through the wall.
Yeah, it's pastry. Just knock it over.
And I was kind of like, and someone was trying to, it shows up on the other side of the wall trying to rescue them. And I was almost thinking she was going to say, you just nod through. Why? You didn't have to eat your way through. You could have just kicked it or something. And everyone else was like, I just wanted to see if you'd do it. We were all thinking it, but it was really funny. So,
Yeah.
what am I playing anything? No, I'm not. Well, Baten Kaitos, I'm finally actually playing through the
The
rest of
rest
the
of the
game.
game.
But not right now because I'm busy with season 2 of Daredevil.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I started. Goodness, now I'm not. Now I'm gonna get the title wrong. It's one of my Threads of Fate. That's what it is. It's a Square Enix action RPG on the PlayStation 1. It was one of the games that I bought with my Christmas money way back when, and I'm playing through that, and it's not as weird as Baten Kaitos apparently, but it has some weird stuff in it. It has two characters that you can play, and from what I've read, the boy Rue, he can transform into monsters that he's killed, and the girl Mint, she's a magic user. She can cast spells and stuff. I started playing with Mint because I always pick the girl character. Anytime I got a choice between two characters, it's always the girl character first, just because I like equal representation. And but I started playing this, and there was an opening sequence where she's a princess. She's next in line for the throne of her kingdom, and apparently she's a big brat, and nobody really likes her. And well, her little sister, I don't know if her sister's her twin sister, but they look about the same age. But her little sister overthrows her and kicks her out of the kingdom. But I'm watching the sequence, and Mint's sister comes in with a guy. I forget the guy's name, but he comes in and he looks like a character in blackface, like literally, back in old timey black and white television blackface. He's got a dark, like really black skin, but he's got this big flesh-colored, peach-colored segment around his mouth, like blackface lips that you would see. And he looks like a voodoo priest. And I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, what in the world were they thinking when they created this guy? He does not look right at all. Yeah, I could not. That guy just really threw me for a loop. Because
you should see some of the costuming in Baten Kaitos. But Baten Kaitos really does have a style all its own, and even at the Trail of Souls is weird, but man, it gets weird after that. During the Trail of Souls, you meet the Great Mizuti, and which is this. It looks kind of like the Skull Kid wearing Majora's Mask to give you kind of a touchstone for what this looks like. And he floats above the air when he walks, he or she, not really sure, because the voice is done with a male voice and a higher female voice superimposed over each other at the same time. So it gives it that really echoey, ethereal, otherworldly feel. Yeah. And it refers to itself in the third person as the Great Mizuti, and all the characters just go with it. And they're like, we would like to thank the Great Mizuti for. So where is the Great Mizuti off to now? Well, have a great time, Great Mizuti. It's hilarious that all of them are just like, all right, fine, Great Mizuti. It is. We don't know what's so great about Mizuti, but hey, we'll hear you, no problem. And I tend to play female characters in games too. One, because you see them less often, and two, because they tend to play the way I like to play. They tend to be the faster, more agile characters, and agile, and that's my play style. If you watch me play Monster Hunter, you'll usually see me play the faster weapons like the sword and shield. Yes, I rock the sword and shield. So that's just my play style. But yeah. And the outfits in Baten Kaitos. Oh my god, they have big poofy pants. They're all circus peoples. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. But Threads of Fate is pretty good. I'm not
Mhm.
too far into it,
Sounds it.
but I like the way it plays. They Yeah, it's an RPG, but there's not a traditional level up system. It's one of those ones where if you want more HP, you got to get hit by monsters more. And so the more you get hit by monsters, the higher your HP goes. But you got to make sure not to die, of course.
Yeah.
And then if you want more magic power, you have to use your magic. And then if you want more physical strength and defense, you buy stuff at the store. Um, but so I don't have a whole lot of like I said, I've only played two of the main dungeons, and I haven't eaten the second one because it's really annoying. I got to this area and there's this boulder blocking my way. And then all of a sudden, the boulder starts rolling to me, and I have to run from the boulder. It's a real Temple of Doom type
Yeah, it's Raiders.
situation, or
The rolling
Raiders.
boulders
Yes,
is Raiders.
Raiders of the Ark type situation, and but on top of that, you have to dodge rocks that are falling from the ceiling, and there's no pattern to this. They're all random, and so it's just really annoying. It took me like good 8 tries before I finally got past
Are
it.
there at
And
least
it's like
shadows that appear so you can get some warning?
nope,
No?
nope. Like you hear a sound and instantly a thing drops, and
Mm.
you can jump at the very second you hear the sound. You'll jump over it if it's in your path. Otherwise, you'll just run right by it. Not too long after that, there is another sequence where you're running up a spiral staircase. You got a monster chasing you, and this is a boss monster. It's chasing you, and then you've got these giant spike balls rolling down the stairs at you. So, and that one is really tough. I haven't gotten past that one, but I only tried that one like 3 times.
That reminds me of there's a scene in some video game. I think it's one of the later Final Fantasies, 9 or 10 or somewhere around there. If I'm remembering it correctly, it's not boulders, it's lightning strikes. And if I'm remembering the scene correctly, there are these random damn lightning strikes, and there's no warning. I don't think there's a shadow or a sound cue or anything. You just you just try and hope not to get hit by a lightning strike.
Final Fantasy X has a big field that is has a bunch of lightning.
Maybe that's what I'm remembering.
Yeah, because I
remember being annoyed.
You have to. I think you have to go through it at least once as part of the story, but then there's also in order to get one of the character's ultimate weapon, you have to go into that field and dodge like a million lightning. I don't know how many lightning strikes, but you have to dodge a certain number of lightning strikes to get part of their ultimate weapon. And Final Fantasy X was one of those games where I said, screw this, I'm not getting their ultimate weapons. I think I maybe got 2 of the characters' ultimate weapons in that game because they were the easy ones to get. One of them you had to do the lightning thing. Another one you had to do the arena battles where you fight monsters that are tougher than 80% of the boss monsters in the game. And I said, screw that. Yeah. I'm not doing this.
13U Cube is asking if I'm over the Wii U. No. What's the last game I played for the Wii U? I think Lego Marvel Avengers. I did IGN's guide for that, and that was January. Since then, I think I've been I've been going through backlog. But there's still a lot on the Wii U I have to go through. Need to finish the Bayonetta games. Need to finish Wonderful 101, both platinum. Still need to get Xenoblade Chronicles X. Really excited for the upcoming Genai Bunroku Sharp FE. What's they just renamed it? Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. I think they changed
Something
the name
like
to.
that, yeah.
Anyway, the Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem game. I'm really looking forward to. And there's a new Paper Mario, which the trailer has me worried, but it looks pretty, and I'm a big fan of Paper Mario, and I remain ever hopeful.
Yeah.
Just like Ghostbusters, even if the trailer's problematic, I'm still hopeful because I'm a fan. So, it doesn't suck until it sucks. There's still the Wii U is pretty much done. Which is one of the major reasons I think most people assume that the NX will be out this year, because if it isn't, we're not going to have much to do.
Yeah, Nintendo's release schedule for this year is pretty light, and which isn't that surprising considering they have zero support from third-party developers.
Yeah, they have like 5 games or something left, period.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be that bad. Oh, 5 games in a year, not too bad. Yeah, but that's other than Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, that's almost literally it. So we've got Lego Star Wars Force Awakens, we've got Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, Paper Mario, Lost Reavers, if you want to count that free to play game. Mario and Sonic. Pokken Tournament just came out yesterday.
Yeah.
I think
Zelda
that might be it. Oh, Zelda Wii U. Zelda Wii U, which is almost probably going to be a cross-platform title, also be a NX title. But Wii U still counts. 7 games in total. And that's counting third parties. There's probably a few more, but
Laxter says Star Fox.
Oh, Star Fox! I forgot about Star Fox because I don't care about Star Fox. Although that Project Shield, the little tower defense game in Star Fox has always looked kind of fun to me. Proto Mandan is Star Fox. Yeah, I always forget Star Fox because I don't hate Star Fox. I've just never been a big fan. My favorite Star Fox game, you guys are going to hate this, Star Fox Adventures. It's because the Star Fox games just really don't do anything for me. They're great blockbuster video. You remember that? They're great blockbuster video rentals. They're great weekend rentals, or I guess Redbox these days. They're great weekend rentals, but Star Fox Adventures, once you got over it's not supposed to be Star Fox, and Star Fox was kind of forcefully crowbarred in there. It's a fun little Zelda-esque adventure game. I liked it. Yeah. So anyway, let's actually talk about weekly topics here. All right. We know that Super Nintendo games are coming to the 3DS Virtual Console, but only the new 3DS, not the old 3DS or the 2DS. And Nintendo, let me open the right thing. What was Nintendo? Oh, God, that's the wrong thing. Here it is, I think. I should be more prepared. So Nintendo said, as previously announced, new Nintendo 3DS has an improved CPU, which enables Super NES games to run on the system with quality results. The Super NES games also include Perfect Pixel Mode, which allows players to see their games in their original TV resolution aspect resolution. Now, I've spoken to a bunch of people about this, and it seems to be not so much that the 3DS, original 3DS hardware can't emulate Super NES games, period, but more along the lines of it can't do it as well as the new 3DS, which, okay. A lot of people get weirded out by this because it's like, but weren't Super NES games on, like, the Game Boy Advance? Yes, but they were ports, not emulations.
Or not emulated, yeah.
Right.
And the same thing with the NES games that came out on the 3DS. They were ports, and that's a with a port, you can easily code a game to fit that hardware.
But still, there's something weird about a console that natively can do N64-esque games, but it's like, really? It's still not powerful to... It can do N64 level games, but it can't natively run or emulate Super NES games, it's just weird. So I
It
asked
is
in the
weird.
yeah, so I asked in the poll from just what do you all think from a technical standpoint? Can the old model 3DS emulate Super NES games? And we had 168 people respond, and 54% said, of course it can. 38% said Super NES games would be playable, but they wouldn't run as well as they do on the new 3DS. And 8%, only 13 votes, said no, Super NES emulation requires the added power of the new 3DS. So I've seen actual videos of kind of homebrew SNES emulation running on the 3DS, the old 3DS, and for what that's worth, it runs, but it's noticeably a little choppy. I wouldn't
Yeah.
completely classify it as unplayable, but certainly not ideal.
Yeah.
Which is so you might say, well, Nintendo doesn't want to present their Super NES games as anything less than perfect. Which sure, but I also hear that Hyrule Warriors Legends runs like ass on the old 3DS. So that so we want our Super NES games to look peachy, but oh, Hyrule Warriors, whatever. Eh.
Yeah, yeah. I think I fall into that middle crowd there with they're playable but they don't run too well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've experimented with emulators and really that's where I replay some of my old Super NES games is on an emulator, just because I don't feel like trotting out a working Super Nintendo and sitting at a TV because my right in front of my TV. So I play it at my computer through an emulator, and yeah, I've had some issues. I've got an a Core i7 CPU and a one let's see, oh wow, it's a 2 gig. A 2 gig NVIDIA video card, and I have some problems with Super Nintendo emulation. Sometimes some of these games just they stutter along. Luckily, I play RPGs and stuff that don't really, so I don't have to worry about lag. But if I were playing an action game and it started to lag on me, I would be pretty ticked, because that can really screw you over if you're trying to play a game and all of a sudden inputs lagging half a second. And I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah.
So, let's see. The Infophile had an interesting comment. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Infophile says, I have to say this is the kind of poll I don't care for. It's not asking for an opinion, it's asking for a fact. Facts are true or not, regardless of how many people believe them. And that's a fine point, although maybe I could have phrased it differently. But the point of the poll was I wasn't asking for anyone to give me a hard fact. I was polling for gut reaction, gut opinion. What do
Yeah.
you think? Do you think the 3D? Because I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but perception is very, very important in terms of
Yeah.
a commercial product. A lot of times, it doesn't matter what the truth is, but the perception is very important. For example, think
Yeah.
of on-disc DLC, or DLC in general. The company may not have carved part of the game out to sell back to you later. They may have completely been above board about it and made the game and said, you know what, it would be cool to have this, and we developed it after we were done with the original game, and now we're selling it to you. But if gamers have the perception that you're ripping us off, then it doesn't matter what the truth is. So
Yeah.
that's so I think those types of polls are still. I mean, I totally respect anyone who
Yeah.
doesn't care for this type of poll, but that's what I was going for. Is
Yeah. I think
there is an absolute answer here. Whether our opinions do not affect whether it's possible to competently emulate Super NES games on the old hardware or not. But what I was going for is does this feel like shenanigans to you? Does this
Yeah,
feel like
exactly.
Nintendo artificially locking it to the new hardware in order to sell it? That's what I was going for with the poll. So,
Yeah, yeah,
nice.
definitely. Yeah,
So,
so
let's see. Oh, one that while we're talking about, were we talking about Hyrule Warriors? No.
a little
Who?
bit
No,
earlier, you had mentioned it. Yeah,
yeah, someone, Laxter, wonder why they didn't make Hyrule Warriors new 3DS exclusive. Maybe Koei Tecmo didn't want to since it would sell fewer copies. Yeah, and we did mention that it apparently runs not very well on the old hardware, so why not make it one of the new 3DS exclusives? As potential sales very well could have been a factor there. But while we're on that subject, I did want to bring up one of the things I've been complaining about, like the whiny Nintendo fanboy I am, is that the new the 3DS version of Hyrule Warriors has new characters, and if you buy the handheld version, that will give you access to those characters on the Wii U in HD. Um, I hate that because I already own the game. I don't want to buy it again for the handheld just to unlock 5
that's
characters.
true. That is true because that's what it's a $40 game on
Yes.
or $50.
Uh, don't know. I would hope it's $40, $50 for a handheld. Shame on you.
But yeah,
Very
$40 for
contentful game.
5 characters. That's $8 each.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a pretty expensive DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there actually is, they are selling a Legends character pack for the Wii U, which includes the 5 characters. So you don't, so Wii U owners, like moi, do not have to actually buy the handheld version just to get these 5 characters and Ganondorf's trident weapon. But
Nice.
it costs $12.99, which is a little on the
It's better than
high
40
side.
bucks.
It's better than $40, but what's interesting is most of the DLC that's coming to the 3DS is also available on the Wii U, and you can buy the season pass for all that stuff, but that doesn't include the Legends character pack. You have to buy that separately. Now, the season pass for the
Yeah.
Wii U is um, this is season pass price. Let me see. So it's $10, $9.99. But you're also going to want the Legends character pack, which is $12.99. So uh, that's a that's a little pricey, especially when you consider the season pass was $20 for the original Wii U stuff,
Yeah.
and you got um, a bunch of new adventure maps, a bunch of new characters. Let's see, you got Epona, which was, well, that's actually a weapon, but that kind of counts as a character. So you got
Yeah.
outfits, you got weapons, you got Twily Midna, you got Young Link and Tingle. Um, is that all the new characters? I think you also got um, the villains. Maybe that didn't come up, but you got the boss challenge thing, the Ganon's Fury thing, and you got all that for $20. For $10, plus I guess another 13 for the character packs, you get uh, playable character, playable character, 4 playable characters, and 2 weapons. That's it.
Hmm.
That's
Uh,
that seems kind of weak to me. And
yeah.
especially the problem is you get the 5 new characters, but you don't have any challenge maps or anything. You can't. I mean, you would get them and then you just take them for a test drive. They don't have their own story modes. They don't have their little areas of the adventure map where you can find heart pieces for them. It's a missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's nice that we have the ability to pay a somewhat more reasonable price for this stuff. But I think I thought the original season pass for all the crap that you got with Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, the $20 for all that crap, yes, absolutely. This one is feeling a too
A
pricey to
little
me.
light, yeah. Yeah.
$13 for 5 characters is that's pretty steep, especially since these 5 characters don't have their own story modes and episodes and stuff. It's just the characters. $13 just seems like a bit much to me.
Yeah, you'd think you'd get a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but going back to the
Someone mentions
emulator
that it's
thing,
better in the Smash DLC prices. Yeah, some of the
yeah,
characters I think are they do come with a stage and music usually, but it's like $5 for Ryu. Like that's a little much for one
yeah,
character.
yeah,
Or maybe I'm just really cheap.
yeah. But going back to the emulator
Yeah.
mentioned, the Laxtrass, what emulator I'm using, and yeah, I am using Heigen, which is a very popular one. But I don't know exactly what the issue is. I think it might be an issue with the specific video driver I'm using, but pretty sure I'm using the same one that I was using before. But I have upgraded my Ubuntu OS, so I was playing before on 15.04, which played really well, but now I'm using 15.10, and so I don't know if it's a driver issue or if it's some other thing that's going on that's causing the problem, but I don't know exactly what it is, and I haven't had really wanted to sit down and figure it out, but I might want to at some point because yeah, it gets really annoying because it's not just it's the video and the audio, they sputter, and so I just mute the audio when I play. But it'd be nice to fix it eventually.
Yeah.
But,
All right, let us move on to a new topic,
all right.
and that is Bravely Second and its localization. So Bravely Second is a Square
More
Enix.
local stuff.
It's not localization; it's censorship. And in some ways, it kind of is, yeah. But
Yeah.
localization censorship it changes. Stuff has been altered, so we'll leave it at that. It's a Square Enix RPG. And there have been some changes. Some of the most notable ones are a lot of the costumes have been altered to be a bit more modest, to cover up boobs
Yeah.
and tummies and extra leggies. One of the character classes was changed from Native American iconography, stereotypical iconography, I really couldn't say. Got feathers in its hair and cowhide clothes, and change that to a cowboy looking character. And the naming convention was weird because the Native American character is apparently called Tomahawk, and
Yeah.
the new character class with the cowboy hat is called oh crap, I forgot. Uh,
Um.
I totally forgot. What is it? Shoot.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Hawkeye. Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Yes.
Which is fine. I probably would have gone with Gunslinger or something if you're going for that look, but whatever. Still, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I would have preferred them address whatever it was that was problematic about the character class in the first place, rather than just say, "Oh, we'll change it to something else," because I don't want to. I don't like perpetuating the idea of, oh, you can't represent Native American stuffs in video games. No, no, you can and you should. Representation, awesome. But I'm not knowledgeable enough about Native American iconography to identify what was problematic about it. But if I were working on the project, if I ruled the world, I would have tried to identify what the problematic elements were and address
Yeah.
those rather than just change the
Definitely.
thing. But one extra thing that we found out thanks to Eurogamer, I think, a month ago,
Yeah.
was the game came out in February in Europe, and there were some forum posts by gamers who had played, ostensibly had played both the Japanese and European version, that there are side quests in Bravely Default in which you make a choice. You side with Group A or Group B, and you play through the scenario, and then your characters have a sit down, and you either get the good end or the bad end. So depending on the choices you make in the side quest, can alter how the ending plays. What some gamers were reporting they had noticed in the localized version is that no matter what choice you make, you get the good ending. The choices you make now no longer alter the ending. You just get good end every single
Yeah.
time, regardless of what choices you make, which I think would bug any gamer. Be like, wait, what? Now my choices don't matter? How is that an improvement? So Nintendo
Yeah.
actually commented on this. And what I found really, really interesting is Nintendo's description is very different of how it originally worked. According to Nintendo, let me just read the statement. Nintendo says, when the game was released in Japan, each side quest would end with the team lamenting the decision they made, regardless of the player's decision. This was intended to help players empathize with the character's situation, but overwhelming feedback from players indicated that they felt an unsatisfying disconnect between their intentions and the character's reactions. In response, these side quest endings were amended to show the party readily coming to terms with their actions in a manner that did not cause the player undue regret for their decisions. Okay, but what Nintendo? So that sounds less. So the way gamers were reporting it is, you make a choice, you get good end or bad end. The way Nintendo's reporting it is, you make a choice, you always get bad end. We changed it so it's not so depressing. And it's like,
Yeah.
someone is not being totally
Communicating.
accurate here.
Yeah. Yeah, that does sound weird. I don't. Maybe it's maybe Nintendo is referring to. Maybe Nintendo is thinking about the two different endings, and the bad ending they felt was too depressing, so they livened it up a bit, where they, as they describe, where the characters come to terms with what they did more readily, so that they're not dwelling on it. And maybe that's why people think that it's a good ending regardless.
I don't know.
don't.
I have to wonder if it was more along the lines of just a different cultural reaction. Like, no matter what choice they made, the characters were like, "Did we make the right choice? Was that the right thing to do? Yes, these good things happened, but at what cost?" Maybe a lot of Japanese gamers felt like, "Oh, stop moping." Like Shinji and Evangelion, and we're sick of that crap.
Yeah.
And maybe European gamers looked at that and said, "No, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Good end." So yeah, and Proto Man Dan is saying that he's played Bravely Second, and that's not exactly how the quests play out, but he's reticent to spoil anything. So yeah, feel free to email me privately and let me know how these quests play out, and maybe I'll update a story as spoiler free as possible. Because what I found really interesting is just, I appreciate that Nintendo took feedback from gamers and said, Nintendo said these changes were made, quote, with the intention of improving the game experience for players. And if that was genuinely based on actual feedback they had received from people playing the Japanese version, okay, hard.
Yeah.
They're at least their
But
heart in the right place, even if they make the best change.
but is this like
someone's not communicating something quite right.
But are these changes like, say, the ending to I Am Legend or the ending to Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
That's a good
where
point.
the original source endings and the original planned endings were very different from what was finally released because of test audience feedback. Where with I Am Legend, now that movie pretty old, so I don't know if there's spoilers here or not.
No,
but there was
kidding.
one ending that, I'm trying to remember the two different endings here. But the ending we got was Will Smith's character sacrifices himself to save the cure and the girl and the girl's kid, and they were able to escape and go off to the human survival camp or whatever. And Will Smith's character was legend for humans,
Well,
whereas
with his miracle blood
with his
that they
miracle
can make
cure,
a
yeah,
antidote for
yeah.
something.
But in the intended ending, and this is the one you get when you get the special edition version, you can see the original. Basically, everybody dies at the end, and he's legend for the vampires in the same way Dracula is legend for us. And so that was the ending the writers and directors intended to have, but the studio made them change it due to test audience feedback.
Yeah.
And a similar thing happened with Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where he was originally supposed to end lives, but test audiences. But he went through all of that for Ramona. Why isn't he with Ramona? It's
like, wow, you really don't get movies, do you, stupid test audiences? That was
yeah.
that one for me is completely the wrong choice. Because the point of the whole story was Ramona is not right for you. You don't win people by beating other people up. People are not prizes in contest. That was kind of the point of the whole thing. And they end up, I guess they're just like, all right, well, we need a reward. He fought all the boyfriends. He's earned her. But whatever.
Yeah.
The ending's on the DVD. So. But you bring up an excellent point. Sometimes listening to audience feedback is really not what you want to do, because sometimes we don't know a damn thing. Some of the worst
we make terrible choices.
Yeah, some of the worst changes to movies and other media are based on test audience. So
well, and that's one of the things, with game developers, we're told to listen, not take everything they say as gospel, because gamers are pretty stupid. They want things to happen, and really those things are terrible. You can't do some of this stuff because it's absolutely terrible. It would either break the game, or it will just not make the game fun, or make the game not fun. And that happened to Star Wars Galaxy, where originally nobody knew who was going to be a Jedi, and one day you accidentally did the things that you needed to do and you became a Jedi. But eventually everybody was like, no, I want to be a Jedi, tell me what to do to be a Jedi. And so eventually whoever was developing the game, I forget, was it Sony, but they eventually relented and gave everybody the checklist for becoming a Jedi for their character, and completely broke the game. And yeah.
Yeah, Proto Man also points out that the problem is most people assume that the original Japanese versions of the side quests were conceptually a good idea in the first place, which is pretty subjective. And that's true.
Yeah.
I'm not making a judgment one way or the other. I'm just finding interesting the disparity between the way some European gamers have described the difference, how it used to work in Japan, and how Nintendo describes how it worked in the Japanese version. Interesting. Anyway, let us move on to our last oh my god, it's 7 already. All right, let us move to our last topic, which last week we talked a little bit about. Microsoft is what its name is talking about cross-platform play with Xbox platforms and Windows 10 and anything else that runs Windows 10, like Windows phones, which we all have, right?
Yeah,
right. I mean, you all your friends have the Windows phone. So
if you watch television, you would think everybody has one, but
yeah. Cross-platform play, Xbox stuff. I forget who said it, but one of the Microsoft guys says Xbox platforms, Windows 10, and other platforms potentially. Yeah. And people are
Chris Carla, or Charla, or however you say his last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that first, in addition to natively supporting cross-platform play between Xbox One and Windows 10 games that use Xbox Live, we're enabling developers to support cross-network play as well. This means players on Xbox One and Windows 10 using Xbox Live will be able to play with players on different online multiplayer networks, including other console and PC networks.
So everyone was like, "Ooh, Sony players and PlayStation players and Xbox players could come together and play Rocket League together, and wouldn't that be fun?" No one ever mentioned the Wii U. No one even suggested
No
that.
one
That'd
cares.
never work. Nintendo
That's
doesn't know
because
a
none
damn
of these
thing about
games are on the Wii U. But
that's true. The games would actually have to be on there first. So
yeah.
Sony actually addressed this with more than the standard. We don't comment on speculation and rumors, but Sony said PlayStation has been supporting cross-platform play between PC. On several software titles, starting with Final Fantasy XI on PS2 and PC back in 2002. We would be happy to have the conversation with any publishers or developers who are interested in cross-platform play. So maybe
You notice that
it's not a
they
no
didn't mention anything. They did not mention anything
about Microsoft,
about other consoles.
right?
And that's probably where things might get a little sticky between in this plan. Yeah, sure, Sony is going to do PC cross-platform play because they don't have a major stake. They're not really competing with PC, but they are competing with the Xbox One, and they probably don't want to enable cross-network play between the two consoles, because that would mean that people would be free to buy whichever console they wanted instead of buying Sony's console or Microsoft getting everybody to buy the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And so I don't see cross-platform play between the two consoles happening anytime soon.
You thought the console wars and fanboys were bad? Wait till they can actually play together in online deathmatch.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun. The other thing that happened was last week we had a rumor where Microsoft is thinking about hardware upgrades for its Xbox platform. No details. Don't know if that means an actual new Xbox or like an expansion pack that you plug into the Xbox One or firmware updates. Who knows? Sony actually, there have been some rumors going around that Sony may actually be doing something similar and may have either a completely new SKU or some way to upgrade the PlayStation 4 so that it's 4K enabled, so that it can output 4K resolutions for its games. Now, this would probably require a new box.
Probably. Yeah. From what I've read, it's probably going to be along the similar lines as the 3DS and the new 3DS, where the new PlayStation 4. They should call it the new PlayStation 4.
That would be great.
But it's going to have
the PlayStation 4U.
There we go. The PlayStation 4U.
They'll probably call it PlayStation 4K.
Yeah, that's
Most
the safe. Yeah, that's the safe and obvious one.
I mean, well, they go PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. It's PlayStation 4K, PlayStation VR. It's gonna be PlayStation 4K. Come on.
Yeah.
But PlayStation's never been really exciting with its
but it's going to be a new box with a slightly better CPU, slightly better GPU, and probably another gig or two of RAM in it, and that's what it's going to be, and which sucks because it's going to split the audiences, unless developers make their game in low graphics mode and high graphics mode, and that's going to tick a lot of developers off.
Yeah, Sony might require your game has to work on both the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4K. You can't have PlayStation 4K exclusives. So it could be a matter of all the PlayStation 4 games. You can play them on whatever system you want. They'll work great on both. But if you play them on the PlayStation 4K, you get to experience it in 4K resolution if you actually have a TV that does 4K.
Yeah, all 5 of you people with 4K television.
Well, it's getting there. It's getting there. But I don't know. I think more people actually have 3D enabled televisions than they actually have 4K TVs.
Yeah, I really don't have the. I don't even know how much those things cost, but I know they're not under 4 digits, and I don't have that to spare.
Yeah, Laxter's bemoaning the name PS4K. he's saying, "Oh, damn it, it's gonna be that, isn't it?" Probably.
Yeah, but just popping back to cross network play, though, I was thinking about this. If they did get PlayStation 4 and Xbox One players to be able to play against each other, I'm trying to think of the derogatory names they might call each other. Ex-boner comes to mind real easily when PlayStation 4 fans are playing against the Xbox One fans. I can't think of an insult the other way.
So actually, we're going to need to come up with slurs for PS. PlayStation players, Xbox players, and I guess we could make slurs for Nintendo players too, because So, hey, if you have any interesting slurs for Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo gamers, feel free to email them to superfatpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to. We'll read the best ones next week. I've heard. I know someone
comes to mind, but yeah.
I think there's one that it's something tards. I don't know if it's X-tards or
I don't know.
Tards,
I think is one. I'm pretty sure Tard was one. Yeah, that is because it's
X.
It sounds like
it's X bots, isn't it? BOT X bots, like sheep.
Yeah.
They're just mindless little automatons following leader.
That one doesn't sound familiar, but
it's also not very derogatory. It's like you X bot. It's like, oh, you got me right here. I mean, it's kind of like calling a white guy a honky.
Like what? Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that ruined my day. That's our show. Please send us slurs. What a great note to end on. Better end soon because my nose is running. So let us plug our stuff in. Sony Pony. Okay.
Interesting.
Again, it's Play Babies. Okay, I kind of like that one. Sony Pony kind of reminds me of like Jack Thompson and Pixelantes. Oh man, he so tried to make that a word. He so tried to make that an insult, and it just didn't work.
It did not work at all, no.
So, okay, let us plug our stuff and get out of here. Andrew Eisen here, Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube, and you'll find my obnoxious YouTube videos, including oh gosh, what's it called? The Video Game Fashion Police, which I did last week, and people really seem to enjoy. And I've got a lot of suggestions for new characters that my sister and I can critique. And yes, folks, I have no fashion sense. You can tell by the way I dress. It's part of the meta joke. Because a lot of people, come on, Andrew, you dress in the same style and color every single day. What do you know about fashion? Nothing. That's why it's funny.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, people really seem to dig it. So, you're not going to see it that often because it's a lot of work. The 10-minute video that's out there, the conversation was actually 30 minutes, and I had to edit it down to 10 minutes and edit 2 different video and audio feeds. It's a lot of work. So we will be doing some more, but it's not going to be a weekly show or anything. But I am working on a video about Man of Steel, the Superman movie. I originally wrote it like 2 months ago, but I thought, you know what, this might actually play better the week that Batman v Superman comes out. So,
does that come out soon, or is that coming out later?
That's the end of Friday. The
Oh wow,
20
on the
something
25th.
25th, yeah.
25th.
So
Wow.
yeah, it comes out this week, and
And I still haven't seen The Force Awakens.
I
I'm a bad Star Wars fan.
I
But
really
yeah,
I really really hope that I want Batman v Superman to be good. I really do because I love superheroes. I love Batman. I love Superman, but man, everything I see from this movie's marketing just does not look good.
yeah. Jesse Eisenberg, I do not like his
Oh
Lex
my God!
Luthor.
Did you see the clip of him in the trailer?
Uh,
We've all heard the God versus man, the greatest gladiatorial thing you'll ever see. The Bat of Gotham against the Son of
Son of
Krypton.
Krypton.
I'm like, that sounded kind of like totally just a trailer thing that they recorded for the trailer. Apparently, this is a
It's a
scene
real
in the
scene, and
movie
yeah,
where Lex Luthor
is
just
basically commanding Superman to go fight Batman.
he's like,
And
Superman, you go to get Batman and you punch him till he dies. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the greatest gladiatorial man. And he goes through the whole thing and he keeps talking and keeps talking. And Superman's standing there listening to him. I mean, doing the Superman glower, you know, that facial expression that we all know Superman for, the big angry glower.
yeah,
Oh God! I'm proud of the fact that I've only ever judged one movie on its trailer, and that was The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Because
the
I figured
Jim
if any
Carrey
of
one.
that crap is actually in the movie, it sucks.
Yeah, you talking
But
about the Jim Carrey one, right?
yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that one was absolutely terrible. And really, the Cat in the Hat with Michael Myers was, or Mike Myers. I forget if he goes by
Mike.
Michael or Mike, but yeah, that one was actually worse than the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. So
Oh,
it's yeah,
I want Batman v Superman to be awesome because it's Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and a bunch of others. It's gonna depress me if it's bad. I don't want it to be
yeah.
bad. Don't make it
But
bad.
it's going to be no better than Man of Steel. I'm sorry, I'm calling it now. It's no better than Man of Steel.
Uh, the Mayo is telling me not to ever make the Superman angry face again. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, keep an eye on my YouTube channel for stuff. Other
All
than
right.
that, at Andrew Eisen is my Twitter handle where I say all the things that wander through my head that are shorter than 140 characters. And my Facebook page is Andrew Eisen YouTube. So there you go. Zachary, plug away.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night, and you can follow my game development work at DK_gaming on Twitter. And it's DivineNightGaming.com. And if you're interested in the Oklahoma game development scene, and you can check out OK Game Devs on Twitter and OKGameDev.com. So.
All right. To answer one question here, 13U Cube is asking me when I'm on call, what do they call for? I work quality assurance for a technology company, but I am also on the off hours rotation for technical support for the.
That's because he
for the
has no
overtime.
life and he wants the extra money.
Yeah. I do it. I do it for the overtime. It's all about the Benjamins, yeah. There's another series I really want to do, which I'm not sure what to call it, but it's me having someone explain to me what the hell hip hop lyrics mean, because I listen to hip hop in the gym, not by choice, because that's what's playing, and a lot of times I'll set down whatever I'm playing with, and I just listen to these stupid songs, and half the time I'm like, what does that even mean? What is Lil Wayne talking about? Is that even English? So I'm trying to find some time to get a friend of mine to come over, or I'll have to meet her somewhere, and basically I'm just going to go line by line through a Snoop Dogg song or something like that and go, just read the lyrics and go, okay, what does that mean? So that could be funny. I'm totally not sure about that one, but it's another one of the video ideas I have. Oh, and yeah, I've done 30 days of Netflix. I've done 13 days of horror. There's another X Days of Y coming in April, so look forward to that. And yeah, that's that. Oh, Matthew, what's up? We're ending. Nice to see you, buddy. So, thanks
The
for
time
watching.
change has messed up Matthew.
Yeah. That's why we should
Forgot
get
to
rid of.
spring forward.
Yeah, that's why we should get rid of daylight savings because it does nothing but create problems. So, okay, thank you everyone for watching the podcast, and if you want to send us email, and please send us our gamer slurs at superpackpodcast@gmail.com. Matthew's going, gamer slurs? What the hell is he talking about? Follow us on Twitter at SuperPack Podcast. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes and like us on Facebook. And we will be right back at you next week. So see you then. Bye bye.
All right. See ya.